What's up everybody, my name is Astonishing Picks and welcome to another review. And today I'm reviewing the Black Series Gaming Greats Republic Commandos, Boss, Sev, and Scorch. I don't have Fixer yet. I was still kind of waiting on him for a bit. I'm gonna do his own little separate review shorts when I do get him eventually, but after getting these three in hand, I just wanted to do a review of them, all of them. Well, most of them, I guess. But yeah, these group of figures are they look good together and everything, and I just wanted to do one concise review since they all basically share the same body and the same general sculpting and general accessories. So just to make it not repetitive over a multitude of videos. With all that said, let's get into the video. So like I said, the main focus of this review is going to be mainly on Scorch, and with that comes new packaging. Now this is probably the first plastic free packaging I've gotten for Black Series. I have gotten it with Marvel Legends, and it is kind of weird not seeing the figures in the window like we're used to, trying to pick the best one. We just have to pretty much play a guessing game when it comes to picking our figures. Here is the plastic free packaging. There's an image of Scorch and his bio, side view of it, and yeah, there's not really much else going on except the picture. I'm pretty sure that this is probably a 3D render. I could be wrong though. The figure looks pretty good in the packaging and etc. Also, the side art looks amazing as well. I love how the art looks when it comes to the mural stuff with the new packaging. So here we have Scorch in the middle. As you can see, he's not standing up straight. I think that when it comes to Black Series, there is that kind of quality control, I guess. So I think either one of his legs is longer than the other, or it's just not, it doesn't want to conform to what it is. So he is standing a little lopsided, which is kind of an issue when it comes to figures like this. So here we have a closer look at Scorch. As you can see, the paint is pretty much on point. His deco is there. Now I'm gonna say that the paint on his helmet is the white part. I think it's casted in a gray color, in a gray plastic, and white is the paint. It makes sense that they would do the more dominant color in this type of way. As you can see, he also has a lot of weathering also. Although it is obviously placed there and it is still too clean, you could always add your weathering later on, which I will. I'm just waiting on getting that Mr. Super Clean finishing spray. So Krylon is alright, but after a while it starts to the quality is not up there and it starts to get glossy again, which is a problem, and I don't want that to happen to either my Sev or my Scorch, since I already put it on Boss, and for the most part, as you can see, he is matte, but his helmet is starting to show a little bit gloss, and that's kind of a problem for me personally, but to each their own. In terms of, I guess, accessories, what he has, a part of the figure is he does have those grenade launchers, I guess, or grenade ammo as a separate piece, which I think is pretty cool. And I wish that with all the other commandos, I wish that Hasbro could have added those little parts that make a difference. Like, I think Scorch has something in his shoulder pad, a little, I don't know what exactly it is, but he has an extension in his right armor pad, and he does have some extra ammo pouches in his lower shin. That could have been great for them to add. Or if Boss had a different type of shoulder piece for his right side, that would have been great. In terms of articulation, it is pretty standard all across the board. So he does move his head up and down. He doesn't move side to side. He does have pivot, but it's very limited due to the helmet. He can move his arm all the way around, and the little ring around his shoulder pad, it really helps with that. He does have a single jointed elbow that can swivel all around. And he also does have a inverted joint that goes inside and out, and a side to side joint on the other wrist. As far as his diaphragm joint, he can move down that far, up that far, can move side to side, and can move around pretty well. As for his legs, if you move them about this, he can move his leg up this far. And he does have thigh swivel, which is amazing too. He has a single jointed single jointed knee. And he does have ankle articulation, which I think is pretty good and should be standard. A great ankle rocker. So in terms of accessories, Scorch only comes with 2 items. He comes with his backpack, which I think is probably one of the better ones or the most unique ones in the Delta squad. I mean, there also is a Fixer's backpack, which I think is pretty cool too. But yeah, you can see the deco and the added details. I think this gives Scorch, I guess, a bigger bulk type look, I guess, in illusion wise. He also does come with his DC-17M blaster with a attachment. Props to Hasbro when they give their weapons an actual nearly sculpt. Although again, they could be bigger. So here we have Scorch again, and this time he's all decked out. As you can see, this is honestly a pretty good looking figure, and again, my favorite. He's a lot of people's favorites, I'm guessing because of his color scheme or his personality. His personality is kind of different in the Bad Batch than he is in the video game. I'm not sure if that has to do with Order 66 or if they're just trying to change the whole thing from Legends and stuff like that. So it could be either. But yeah, so let's take a look at Boss. Now Boss is pretty much the same thing when it comes to the sculpt and articulation, so there isn't really too much to talk about. Boss is the first Republic Commando to be released by Hasbro, so he is again a re-release of the Hunter body mold, and I think again it is quite appropriate, I guess, for them to be using a similar type of body style. I just hope that one day we do get proper representation of these guys, but for now I think that this is a pretty good substitute for what we have, and I think it's pretty okay considering that they're most likely using reference to Clone Wars, and I think that's fine. In terms of sculpt and articulation, it's pretty much the same thing as the other Republic Commandos. So all we could do is really much appreciate the level of paint jobs and stuff like that he has. Obviously it is different. You could see the orange. It is more like a reddish blood orange type rather than the orange you see on figures like Commander Cody. His is like more like a yellowish type orange. This is like a darker one. If you notice that there is a lot of weathering, that's because I did add my own weathering to him. So that's why he looks a little bit more dirtier and more matte when it comes to the chest and legs and stuff like that, torso area. So that's the only difference. I think that weathering does make a difference to these Republic Commandos. Obviously, these guys in the back are in need of some treatment with those. And no doubt, I think that they'll look great on the shelf. So here we have Scorch. Scorch, I would say, is one of the most badass looking clones. Although I don't think that this figure does him justice at all. The paint is pretty unique and stuff like that. But it also it just looks like it's doesn't look right, I would say. I think in his regular armor or his armor that he has, he looks more smeared. It looks more badass, I would say. I guess maybe the weathering is a factor to why this figure looks a little bit weird compared to his in-game counterpart. Weird thing to note is that his legs are, and his shin and his foot are molded in red plastic, and the paint is the white, which is why it looks kind of different compared to the other red paint that he has throughout the body. But as you can see, he has paint in the back too, in his backpack, so props again to Hasbro for that, covering all around. I think his chest armor could have been better. The deco, I mean, the white could have been painted from the game, but again, they're using reference from the Clone Wars, so it definitely looks like this. I just think it kind of looks odd and incomplete, but that's just me. And as you can see, his weapon is the DC-17 but sniper configuration, so it does still look a little bit too small for a sniper, so that's again, they're not properly sized. There are alternatives. Again, there's also like 3D printing and stuff like that, so it shouldn't be a big issue for those who want to actually give them better weapons. Alright, so next let's get into the size comparison. Here is a simple one. Here is Hunter next to Scorch. As you can see, there's hardly any difference to the sculpt and everything. They all seem to kind of fit in, which is pretty cool. Here we have Commander Cody next to Scorch and the other members of Delta. Here we have General Obi-Wan Kenobi next to Scorch and the other members of Delta. Here we have Crosshair next to Scorch and the other members of Delta. As you can see, Crosshair is pretty dang tall. Here we have Wrecker next to Scorch and the other members of Delta. Here we have Bo-Katan Kryze next to Scorch and the other members of Delta. Last but not least, in the Black Series line, here we have Grogu next to the members of Delta. The next one we have is Anakin Skywalker from SH Figure Arts. He is kind of a little bit hard to stand. Here you guys go. Here we have Black Panther next to Delta Squad. Just to see the scale, here we have Delta next to Batman from McFarlane. As you can see, McFarlane's 7-inch line is pretty dang big. Here we have Spider-Man, the Mafex comic book Spider-Man, next to the other members of Delta. And we also have the Medicos Joseph Joestar next to the members of Delta. As you can see, I think they all pretty much scale well when it comes to interchanging and stuff like that, so yeah. So overall, my thoughts on these figures, I think that this is a pretty good lineup of Delta Squad figures and a pretty good set of clone troopers to get. They all have unique decos and stuff like that. Again, there is that gripe of them not being the way that we wanted to, but I think that this is all serviceable and fun to play with. If you guys want something more accurate and more better looking, I guess, then you could always customize your figures, buy custom sets and stuff like that, paint them your own way, the way you want them to look like. Although that is going to cost you more than you would want to actually pay. I'm guessing around maybe $200 just for the kits and stuff like that. Or there are other alternatives and stuff like that you could do. But I think that these are serviceable. I apologize if you guys wanted to see the full Delta Squad lineup. I will do a short on Fixer. I was just waiting on him. But yeah, these guys are amazing. Please do not miss out on them. If I were to rate them all in one group, I would probably give them like maybe a 7.5 out of 10. Individually though, I would say that I would give Boss probably like around a 7. No, I'd give him an 8, and I would give Sev a 7, and I would give Scorch probably an 8.5 maybe. Just because he is probably my favorite one of the bunch. He has probably one of the better decos of Delta Squad, and just love the accessories that he is packed with and the backpack and stuff like that. He just looks amazing all around. Not to say that the other members look bad, but you know, I think that he stands out the most to me. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Please check out my other platforms, and yeah, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.